through science, we're able to actually figure out what
but our parents
roots are.
lied to us.
Right. They might have. They might not have known any better. Coming up very shortly, we're going to one at a time find out exactly what our DNA says about our cultural
and we have
heritage.
no idea.
Just Ainsley, right? Today,
no, I'm first.
All of us?
You're first.
Oh, I thought it was
You're in the middle
first.
of the show, and I'm at the end of the show.
I'm at 6:30. You're at 7:30. He's at 8:30.
Well, wait a second. 70 just told me I'm at 7. I don't know if she's on Eastern time.
Oh.
But here's the other thing I like to bring up. We should really think about this, because I remember every year at 5th grade we had to come up with our family tree, and we had to talk about the moms, the dads, and put little branches down below. Are we going to have to blur the branches?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to go back and say, I just swabbed my mom's cheek, and now it turns out my family tree is, I won't get an A.
In 58 minutes, you're going to find out. How are you feeling about that? Brian, we had to swab his mouth with Q-tip.
Exactly.
We mailed it in.
Right.
And today we're getting the results.
We do have
So it's easy. It's not a blood test. It's easy. We're going to tell you all about it and how you can do it at home, too.
You've seen the ads on television.
Oh, my God.
Oh, this is Paul. These are my great-grandparents. And I was a relative I didn't know existed.
So, have you ever wondered about your family history?
We did. So we decided to find out.
And joining us now with Steve's results is collaborator with MyHeritage.com and the author of a book called Something Beautiful Happened. There's the name of the book, who tells her story, Yvette Corporon.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
So good to see you.
So good to see you.
So you're going to look at my DNA and figure out where the family tree goes, right?
We are going to look at your DNA, and not only do we look at your DNA, but we also then discovered more about your family's history through your DNA.
Oh, fantastic. Now, here's why I've always wondered about it and have never been able to do it, because, we just heard the family stories. My grandmother, Grandma Doocy, was adopted.
Interesting.
Her mother was 100% Cherokee Indian.
Wow.
So we don't know exactly what the family tree...
Her biological mother was?
No, we don't know,
okay.
because she was adopted.
Right, so you never knew anything about her.
Story was she arrived in Iowa on the orphan train, which is a whole other story.
Wow, great story. Well, there's a lot of history in your family, and so we've broken down and perhaps a few surprises for you today. You guys ready?
All right.
Okay. All right, drum roll, please. Okay, so we know last time we talked about you having Irish roots.
Right.
You also mentioned that you were half Swedish.
That's what we thought.
Guess what we found?
What?
You're actually a little bit more than half Swedish. So here we go. Your results are Doocy DNA. You are 60% Scandinavian.
Look at that.
Which consists of Sweden, Norway, and Denmark.
No wonder I love the Volvo.
There you go. You are 19% Irish, which we knew, but we didn't know what the percentage was.
19?
I told you there were surprises. And there's more. Ready? 12.2% Baltic, which is Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia.
Wait, that's not Russia, is it? Because suddenly I'm going to wind up...
Now all of a sudden...
That's a separate
stop
segment.
wiretapping
That's
me.
a separate segment. You are also 5.9% Iberian, which is Spain and Portugal, and 2.9% Finnish.
So it sounds like, for the most part, my people stuck in the cold parts of Europe.
Exactly. And then they came on over, and guess what? We found some census documents proving when your family came over. So last time we talked about your Irish background.
Right.
This time we found your Swedish family in the U.S.
Oh, thank goodness.
We found a census document from 1910 that shows your great-grandfather on your mother's side. His name was Ben Peter Berndt. And
That's right,
we have
Grandma
the census
Berndt.
document. There you have it. And also, he came over from Sweden, and he married Anna Larson, who came over in 1900. They married in 1901. Anna lost no time finding a husband.
So, and his name was Peter.
His name was Peter, exactly. Now, the thing is, interesting,
we have continued that family name.
In some census documents, the names are spelled differently, because back then, so many of the immigrants were illiterate. So when you look through the documents, there are a lot of inconsistencies.
So Berndt was a family name, but so was Sharp. Please tell me I'm related to the electronics giant.
Oh, we're going to continue with that research. We haven't found that quite yet. We do know you were land barons, though, because we found a family map from last time in Illinois, your great-grandfather's brother's map. But we also...
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. So what you did not know were your Baltic roots. Well, guess what? We found some of your Baltic relatives. In fact, from a census document in 1880, we found your great-great-grandfather, Christian Fisher, came over to the U.S. from
Christian Fisher?
Yep. Came over to the U.S. from East
Wait a minute.
Prussia.
I'm related to Christian Fisher?
Yes, indeed you are. That's
East
right.
Prussia, Germany? Which is now Germany?
He's Prussia, which is Yes, actually, it was Russia, Poland, and Lithuania is today what Russia's part of.
Quick question. How does it work between those DNA and research? Like, do you merge them both?
It's phenomenal. So what happens is you take this little cheek swab, right, which you guys did a couple of weeks ago. It takes about a month for the results to come back. This is then sent to a lab here in Texas. The scientists then extract your DNA. They upload it, and what they do is they put it in a database, and instantly on MyHeritage DNA, it matches you with relatives from around the world. So once you log into the computer, you see your DNA breakdown, and then instantly it links you with people, and it tells you the percentage of DNA that you share and where they are in the world. And those who have 88 million people around the world have profiles on MyHeritage. If you have a family tree, it instantly links your family tree.
So interesting. So Steve could be inheriting money from his Latvian roots.
No, the big news is I'm more Swedish than Irish.
You're more Swedish than Irish, and perhaps there's a Prussian prince in your background as well.
Nice.
Kristen Fisher, not the White House correspondent, perhaps the other Christian Fisher who died in the 1800s.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow, that is really
Pretty
something.
cool stuff.
So I can go over to IKEA right now as like 60% Swedish and get an employee discount.
And free meatballs.
Don't commit a crime.
This is really fascinating.
Awesome. And just wait to see what we have for you guys.
All right, Brian, you're next, and then Ainsley.
Brian's at 7:30, and I'm at 8:30.
Exactly.
All right. Good job, Bet. Don't go far.
That's really cool.
Awesome.
Well, we've all seen those ads, the MyHeritage ads on TV, like this one.
Oh my God.
Oh, just the call.
These are my great-grandparents.
And I was relatives I didn't know existed. So, have you ever wondered about your family history?
We did, so we decided to find out. Last hour we revealed my results, and now it is Brian's turn.
Right. So here are the results. Is a collaborator with MyHeritage.com and author of Something Beautiful Happened, Yvette Corporon. It joins us right now. And Yvette, you're breaking down not only MyHeritage, which you've done, but now you factor in some genetic testing to somehow merge the two.
Exactly. I mean, what's really cool about what MyHeritage does is, as you can see, we can swab for your DNA.
You don't have to take blood.
There's no blood. It's a very easy 45-second test on MyHeritage DNA. You simply swab your cheek, you mail it off to the lab in Texas, and then in about a month you get your results. They break down your DNA, your ethnicity, and then they automatically link you with relatives from around the world.
All right. So I've known Brian.
Excited.
I've known Brian for coming up on 20 years. I have always heard you're half Irish, half Italian. Is that true?
Well, drum roll, please. That is very close. The numbers are slightly off, though, because we have even more to talk about today.
Oh.
Okay, so last time we were here, we talked about mostly your Irish ethnicity. Well, here we go. Here are the results. Brian, you are 31.1% Italian.
Okay.
Next, 21.6% North and West European, which is Germany, France, and Switzerland.
Uh-oh. Germany, France, and Switzerland.
And then 20.2% Irish.
How did that happen?
There's
a big gap there, a few branches and circles that make no sense.
There is indeed, but there's more. And then you are also 14.4% Balkan, which is Serbia, Bulgaria, and Croatia.
Me too.
Cousins.
Russia.
There you have it. And then also 12.7% from a whole bunch of other places.
Really?
A potpourri.
That's a technical term, whole bunch of other places.
So how does that make sense?
So that makes sense in the sense that they're able to break down your ethnicity going back generations and generations.
Right.
And then it gives you a big picture of who you are today and where your ancestors came from, which is really quite shocking. What MyHeritage does is then when you get your results, they send you an image of a globe, and it shades the areas of the world where your family is from, so you can really see where everyone migrated from, where you thought you were from, and when you actually were from.
Did you have anything like Steve had, or do you just like Steve better of him signing in the book of different recordings?
I actually have a lot of surprises for you.
Okay.
Plus a little gift. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so last time we talked about your Irish heritage.
Yes.
Today, let's talk about the Italian side. We know that you're from immigration documents that MyHeritage found.
This is 30% of his background.
Exactly, 31.1% Italian. We know that your great-grandparents, Gregorio and Amelia d'Andrea, along with your 3 sons, arrived in New York from Naples on September 20th in 1900.
And that's not Naples, Florida, right?
No.
No, not Naples. We actually have an image of the ship they came over on, which is the Kaiser Wilhelm
We just saw
II.
it.
The Kaiser Wilhelm?
The second, exactly. That was a ship. But from your Irish side of the family, this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so last time we talked about your family having roots in Upper Manhattan. Your grandmother ran a boarding house on St. Nicholas Avenue. Well, we found that your family had roots in Upper Manhattan even further back. We found a census from 1910 where your great-grandfather, John McNiff, who was born in 1800 in Ireland, came to the U.S. in 1901. We have the census right there. He was married to Mary Kirk McNiff. They had 2 daughters.
In 1801. Did you say 18 or 19?
He was in 1901. 1901. He was married to Mary McKirk McNiff, and they had 2 daughters, Mary and Margaret, which was your grandmother.
Right.
But now, so your great-grandfather came over from Ireland, right? They lived in Upper Manhattan. We know that he was a plumber. But that's not all we know about him. I have a little present for you.
Really?
This is your great-grandfather, John McNiff's World War I draft registration.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, wow.
It shows he had auburn hair and gray eyes. And he arrived in the U.S. in 1901, and he registered for the draft in 1917, and that's the actual document.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's my grandmother's father.
Your
my grandmother's
father.
Father, yeah, so that would be...
So your great-grandfather.
Wow,
came over from Ireland, and then about 14, 15 years later, registered for the draft.
Well, it's really interesting that you're able to figure out that he was a plumber.
Yeah, he was a plumber, but then on this document, he was a longshoreman. So he came over from Ireland as a plumber, then worked here as a longshoreman after having a family. Exactly. And again, right here, it says gray eyes and auburn hair.
Right, and over here it says couldn't break into broadcasting, had to have a plan B.
Well, broadcasting had not yet been invented.
Is that his signature?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his signature right there. Yeah.
Longshoreman
and they lived
plumber.
on St. Nicholas Avenue, which is what we talked
This
about
is
last
so cool.
And you know, it's good. It's my brother that's really good with his hands and you know doing everything like that.
That is so cool.
Go.
That's fantastic.
Well, we have learned so much today. Of course, you can read all about it at MyHeritage.com. If you go there and you use the promo code FOX, you're going to wind up with free shipping for your test, plus a discounted price of $79 for a limited time. Okay. I got an email from my wife. We're going to do all the kids.
Fantastic.
And, well, actually, we'd only need to do one.
Right.
But she wants to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Fantastic. That's great. And there's a special, right?
There is a special, as we just said, it's $79 and free shipping for Fox Friends.
Use promo code FOX.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, thank
you,
you, Yvette. You're going to come back
Thanks,
at 8:30.
Surprises for you.
All right, great. Thank you.
And Arlie Wade. Each hour this morning, we have revealed the results of our MyHeritage.com DNA test. Now it's Ainsley's turn after we discovered I am a Viking.
Back with us right now to share the results is the collaborator with MyHeritage.com and author of Something Beautiful Happened, Yvette Corporon. Welcome back, Yvette.
I hear there's something shocking in here.
Well, you know, we've had something shocking for everyone, some surprises for everyone, and we have some really cool stuff for you. Now, Ainsley, you and I have talked about how your family has been here for many, many generations, and perhaps we've discovered some of the history before that.
Oh.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. So in the past, we knew that you had deep German roots, right?
Earhart.
There we go. What we have discovered is, drum roll please, that you are 68.5% North and Western European, which is Germany, France, Switzerland, and Belgium. So that makes sense.
Right.
Perhaps what you did not know is that you were 29.1% Scandinavian, which is Norway, Denmark, and Sweden.
I'm related to Steve.
30% of me.
It's the blonde hair. There you have it. Okay. Not only that, we discovered that you were also 1.6% Middle Eastern.
Oh, really?
Look at that. So in that dot right there, the tan dot.
Exactly. So that actually shows the region that your family is from.
And when I see Ainsley, I think Middle East.
Maybe Jerusalem, Bethlehem?
Israel, Saudi Arabia, that whole area of the world. And then I have one last surprise for you. You ready?
I'm ready.
0.8 Sierra Leonean.
What?
Wow.
So
Wait, 0.8.
0.8.
Okay,
Many,
so
many
Hayden
generations.
can get a scholarship.
There you
we
have
can,
it.
like, circle other, right?
There you have it. I've actually heard that some people check DNA to see if they can diversify. And
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So there you have it. But not only that, as we have with you guys, we also took that information and dug deep to see what historical documents we could find for you. Are you ready? Okay.
Ready.
So we know that you have German roots, right? And we also found documents to support your Swedish heritage this time. We have the
What is it, an IKEA receipt?
You know, I know you guys want to take that trip to IKEA.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll get you a discount. But this is a census document from 1850 that shows your great-great-great-grandfather on your mother's side, Charles Lindfors. It shows that he was a merchant living in South Carolina, and it shows that his place of birth was Sweden, which, of course, speaks to the Swedish heritage we just found. But that's not all. So we know you have deep German roots, and we found from historical records that your great-grandfather, Louis Marsteller, was born in Germany, and he moved to the U.S., and we discovered that his occupation in 1870 was actually a saloon keeper, right?
Wow.
Right, and we...
Cheers.
Louis Marsteller, was his son Philip?
That I don't know. I just have Louis Marsteller, but I do know a little bit more about Louis, is that he was a saloon keeper, and the saloon was just across the Brooklyn Bridge at 75 Court Street, and we actually found a document from 1870 showing the corner where his saloon was. Now, you can see it. We can't see the actual saloon, but what you can see is that it's tucked away somewhere behind the tailor shop and the real estate shop. So it's there on the right side.
Wow. Yeah, Mom and Dad, when you come up, we'll have to go see it.
There you have it.
All right. That is fantastic.
That's so cool. Thank you so much.
All right, our friend Yvette Corporon joins us from MyHeritage.com. And a couple months ago, we came up with the idea. We've seen the commercials. We want to figure out where we're from using DNA. It took about a month, but we figured it out.
Exactly. And I hope there were some nice surprises there for you guys. I mean, it is fascinating because not only does it break down your DNA of where you're from generations back, like I thought my family was 100% Greek. I have a lot of Italian blood, so it seems like they were sharing a little bit more than just fish when they were going back and forth in olive oil.
Oh, the marinara.
Right. Exactly. So it's great. And then what you're able to do with the help from the researchers at MyHeritage is then dig deep into those family roots and find the historical documents to back up where you're from.
I was going to say, because now that we know what percentage from what country or what region we are, we want to know how those dots all connect. So it'd be nice to see who married who and how they became an item.
Well, as it turns out, Ainsley and I have something in common. We both have Scandinavian roots.
True. Are you more Scandinavian than I am?
I'm 60%.
What am I?
30.
Steve, 30. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
But what's interesting is Yvonne said that, that apparently you have tracked down people I'm related to who live in Sweden?
Yeah, what happens is, so as soon as you...
Currently alive.
Currently, what happens is you do your cheek swab. Right, you send the DNA sample to the MyHeritage DNA lab, which is actually in Texas. About a month later, you get an email saying we have your results. So you click on, and a graphic comes up. It's a globe that shows where in the world your family is from and what percentage. And then what it does is actually link you to people with similar DNA. So it automatically gives you a list of cousins, and it's your choice whether you want to contact them or not. It tells you their names, the country that they're from, and the percentage of DNA that you share.
For instance, we were talking about how my mom always told me that one of George Washington's pallbearers was a relative of ours. His name was Philip Marsteller. So we did the family tree because I wanted to name my child a family name. So if it was a boy, we thought about naming him after my husband or naming him Philip Marsteller because I thought that was a cool story that he was close friends with George Washington. Then you tell me today that the saloon in Brooklyn that my family owned was a Marsteller. So I assume it's Philip's child
We're
or
going to have to look
grandson.
into that, but that's amazing because the timeline actually works. And then to be able to go back and find the actual photograph of the corner where the saloon was, I mean, it's amazing.
Sure. Okay, so you were talking about how through the DNA you're able to find cousins.
Yes.
Has through the DNA linked up brothers and sisters or siblings or parents?
Absolutely. I mean, this happens around the world, but just recently, in fact, this past month on the West Coast, there were two sisters, one who uploaded her DNA, and one was in Seattle and one was in San Francisco.
And didn't know about each other?
Did not know each other. They just knew that the family had fractured, and one sister was looking for any relatives. She uploaded her DNA. Her nephew had uploaded his. She emailed him, they connected, and that nephew then said, Mom, I found your sister.
Wow.
So MyHeritage then brought the two sisters together, and they had a tearful reunion, and they're actually, I mean, the similarities are amazing. They sat at the piano together. One played the piano, the other sang, and they have this shared connection.
So they were probably separated at birth?
I think it was not separated at birth. The dad left, I believe, and then had another family. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's amazing.
It's so great to work for a company that does this and connects. I mean, that changes someone's life.
It's amazing. You know, I came to MyHeritage, you know, just like every other user. I was looking for the family that my Greek grandmother hid from the Nazis during World War II. Everyone told me, forget it. There are no records. You'll never find them. And finally, one day, someone gave me a name of one of the men that one of the women married. All I had was a name. And I sat at my kitchen table drinking coffee on like a Sunday morning, and I plugged in the name, and I'd been searching for years. And all of a sudden, this family tree popped up, and it was all the names I'd been looking for. I was able to contact the family who had no idea about how their mother survived the war. So it's amazing.
This is so much easier because my dad and I went to Ireland, and I was looking here. I thought I was half Irish. I'm 12% Irish. What we did was everywhere we went...
19% Irish.
Oh, 19%. Irish. So I'm about 20% Irish, one-fifth. Wherever we went in Ireland, my dad would ask for the phone book, see if there's a Doocy. If there was, he'd say, what's that over there? Just take the page out.
He would.
This is a much easier way to find out who you're related to.
That was your dad?
Yeah,
That's
it's
cute.
funny like that.
That's cute.
Awesome.
I know, it's awesome.
Amazing.
But he wound up never calling any of them.
Oh, well, now you can log on and call all your relatives and connect.
Because apparently you have put together the family tree.
Exactly.
And I'll know who my relatives are in Sweden who might actually be Ainsley's
Wouldn't that be
relatives.
wild?
Could you
Wouldn't that
imagine
be
if we
crazy?
actually connect the two of you?
Yeah.
There's got to be a
wild.
way.
You never know.
That would have been a good reveal on TV.
Next
And as
week.
it turns
We're
out,
related.
Ainsley,
I'll be back next week for that.
he's your cousin.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much. And
My
once
pleasure.
again, go to myheritage.com. If you use Fox as a promo code, you get free shipping. Plus, right now, save $20 if you
you
want to
have it.
find out where you came from.
It's worth it. It's fascinating. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday.